I'm the Commissar. We're watching Forged Alliance Forever, and you might be here for superb strategical choices, top-tier tactical decisions, or you might be here for a bit of fun and to watch people make questionable life choices. Today, I assure you, it's going to be the latter. So, let's get stuck in and see what happens. Canis River. Many of my viewers may have fond memories of this map, and some not so fond. Back in the days before map gen, it was almost as commonly played as Cetons, I'd say. Although I often played it in the 5v5 version with another player here. However, we'll talk about the map in a moment, because at the moment it's in the 4v4 ladder pool, and so we have a hot team and a cold team. Starting for hot team in the flank position, we have buergi. Buergi is 1216 rated in Cybran, and he is in Mucus Brown. In the air position, we have SGTxMASKINGTAPE, Sergeant/Masking Tape, Sergeant Cross Masking Tape, an unholy crossbreed /fic. I don't know. We'll call him Sergeant. He's 1167 rated in Seraphim. He's in Burgundy. In the eco position is the 821 rated Mario 1989, who's in orange and playing Eon. And in the forward position is New Bat, 1024 rated, also Eon in red. And their mirrors on the cold team. In the flank position is the game's highest rated player, Taoist, who's 1411 rated, and Cyan, he's in UEF. In their air position and opening first air is RedhairyLlama, 1086 rated and also UEF. He is in dark blue. In their eco position, we have CupOfDoggo, 898 rated, also UEF, in mauve. And last but not least, in their forward position and walking forward into the distance there, we have Zardos, 919 rated and also UEF, and he is in baby blue. So we have an all UEF team facing off an all the races except UEF team in the north. How delightful. Now the map, reclaim smattered roughly everywhere, and a river runs through the middle with these two crossing points. Now the meta on this map is well known. This player here in Taoist's position comes up here and holds this position. This player here was the air player, takes this lot of stuff and holds this position. The player here in Zardos' position has to hold this area and fight sometimes across the water. And the player in Doggo's position comes over here, holds or fights for this hill, and expands onto this plateau and builds a lot of eco. So that's the classic meta for Canis. But it's also been a long time since I've played Canis, so maybe it's changed. And the first thing I see is this. I don't normally see this. This is a transport coming out from Taoist. Is he going to... Well, he's actually going past the position you might expect him to drop. Something's landing here, but he's going for a super aggressive drop onto Mario's plateau, and I love it. Meanwhile, everybody else coming out where you'd expect. I don't know if in Mario's position I let an NG do that and carry on myself in that direction, but Mario stopped to build a factory here. Doggo hasn't even left his base yet and is building a lot of spam. I like the lot of spam, but I don't like the comm steering the base. His comm should be out here somewhere. Meanwhile, Taoist has dropped and is putting up multiple point defenses to start with to defend against early tanks or NGs, and then a bunch of factories. I like that. I'd like to see some anti-aero radar queued up in there. Maybe one of the engineers should hive off and build a radar, and then an anti-air. But other than that, I like this drop. I think it's good. And when Mario... I think Mario knows about it though. He's got this radar. Yeah, he knows about it, and he is sending tanks to go and counter it, so At least Mario's responding, that's pretty good. And Taoist is now re-expanding to this area with the transport. Bomber from Llama has come in here looking for some kills, but it's been seen off by this anti-air turret. And while we were looking in there, Llama started the gun upgrade. I can tell it's the gun upgrade by the expenditure and by which arm it's on. That's a very early gun, but Zardos and Mario are following. Taoist coming pretty far forward here with his comm. But the drop has been engaged. Mario is trying to push Taoist out of here, but he hasn't brought any artillery, and so those point defenses are going to make it pretty hard. And there's already 2 point defenses and 2 factories with a third going up, so I don't think Mario is going to have much luck with this force, or this one, which also doesn't have any artillery in it. No, Mario doesn't. Oh no, he does think he can. Well, he's able to range this factory just, which is nice because the guns can't hit him either due to terrain or range from there. Remember, Auroras have the longest range of any of the tanks. Meanwhile, though, oh, this is interesting. Bat has managed to get a raid into this, which would normally be the air player's expansion, but neither Llama nor Taoist have actually built anything here, so this raid, which should have been really effective, doesn't actually find anything to kill. Mario has killed a factory, but he really needs Arty to get work done here, and he hasn't brought any yet. However, I don't think Taoist has enough production to see this off in the long run. Bat is trying to raid out of the central river with his comm, but I think he's going to be driven back by Zardos, who has the gun. Yeah, Bat's just going to be going back in there. Was Bat trying to set up a firebase here? Perhaps. Mario still hasn't been able to crack this drop. You can see that this point defense has actually shredded quite a lot of the army, and if I were Taoist, I would be having at least one engineer coming out here, if only to rebuild this factory and get engineers reclaiming all the reclaim that he's literally just made. However, another army is coming in, and more to the point, so is the comm from Mario, and Mario's comm should be able to handle this. He has gun, he can just overcharge the point defenses down. Over here, both Buergi and Sergeant have started work on gun, which would be a good combination if they go in together. They're both about to finish. Mario's comm coming in, but there's now a third point defense going up, and this one is properly ringed. This one should be also, but isn't. But in comes Mario with armies from both sides. He's using his range well and takes out one of the factories. Doggo is also moving in, but he's naked against a comm with gun and another comm with gun who's about to have stealth. Mario continues his advance and takes out another factory, and he's probably going to be able to clear it from here. However, we're going to watch both of these. Let's start with Doggo, who is moving in. He's got a lot of spam with him. Sergeant has a reasonable amount of spam, but the important thing is that we have 2 upgraded comms here to Doggo's naked comm. But this is a huge amount of spam from Doggo, who, remember, is in the eco sort. And he is going to swarm these guys down. Look at this. He is surrounding them. Meanwhile, on the right, here comes Mario, and these point defenses are going down. We have engineers trying to escape from towers, so they're just going for the reclaim, but it doesn't matter what they're going for, because Mario is bringing in tanks and don't got those engineers. There's still the ward point defense here for Mario, but he's going to take it, no questions asked. It'll take him a little while, and now he's setting up a factory of his own. There he goes, expansion cleared. Back to Doggo, and Doggo is in the yellow against these 2 tooled up comms, But the important thing here is that his spam might be able to take out buergi's T2 HQ, which buergi has put on the front line. Now that might be a bit of a mistake, and it turns out that it was, because look at this. If he loses his T2 HQ while the spam from Doggo has been protecting all the eco that you'd expect the eco player to have, yeah, the T2 HQ is down, and now buergi can't build T2 combat units until he builds another one. And sure, Doggo is falling back with his spam, but he's done the job. Meanwhile, we have a little raid from Zardos coming up the middle, but it runs straight into Sergeant's production, and that is that. Doggo still falling back. buergi is chasing him a little bit and making sure he actually goes away. And he does. He's got quite a decent move queued up, but that definitely did its job. However, it did leave a lot of reclaim. About 4,000 there that Hot Team can pick up. And buergi is putting up his new HQ back here, in a slightly safer area of the expansion. Bat is coming back across the water, and this time he's got T2 on his comm, and he's going straight for turrets, starting with T1, which is the correct choice. Because if you put up T1 turrets, then just a quick Mantis diverted to kill it will not get anywhere. You need to build a slightly larger raid to break through, and by then Bat's going to have more defences. He's got the shield plant, he's put up anti-air to cover. This is good from Bat. And Zardos does indeed send a tank. Indeed, he sends a pillar T2 tank. But there are now 2-point defences up, the pillar is down, the rest of this is T1, and we are going to have a firebase here from Bat. Look at this, he is absolutely building it up. Nice. And Zardos is over here getting T2 and tactical missile, but he does need to worry about this firebase. On the right, Mario is pushing in with a decent tank force, and there's a T2 almost cap mix here. This turret is not going to go up. Mario is going to be able to do some damage here, I think. This is good work. This is quite a decent swarm of Auroras. It hasn't got any arty in here, which I would absolutely bring if I were trying to wreck an expansion. And I don't know if Mario's T2 yet, but Taoist isn't really in a position to defend. Meanwhile, on the left, in comes Sergeant, forcing Zardos to cancel his tactical missile upgrade. And Zardos doesn't have much spam here because he just spent it all on trying to counter Bat's firebase. Sergeant should bring his spam in to help this out, but we might be in for a bit of a sandwich situation here, as there's a firebase here from Bat, and there's Sergeant's Guncom here. And Bat, who is Eon, has also brought some units across the river to partake of the sandwich. And Zardos is in a bit of a pickle. Meanwhile, Mario is still on the attack, and he's going for Taoist's expansion right here. But Taoist has T1 point defense up, which might handle the Auroras, and if he can finish this T2 point defense, I think that there will be no question. Yeah, look at this. Back to Zardos, who is falling back, but he does have gun and T2 with which to defend, so he's quite tanky, and he is bringing in T2 units now, he's bringing in pillars. But he's losing a lot of ground here to the firebase from Bat and to Sergeant. And he's deep into the yellow. And Mario's just parked in the point defense fire, and with help from this Janus fighter bomber, down it goes. Poor Mario. Though good work. Zardos still in the yellow. He's falling back. He's putting up T2 point defense here to fall back to. I think he's going to make it, but he's lost a lot of ground. And look, there's T2 point defense going up here as well for Neobat. A lot of ground lost by Zardos here. Though Doggo is coming in to help. And we are gonna keep on watching this here because Doggo is still naked and might be at risk from these multiple from these multiple comms battling it out, so he can't really follow it up. Wars going down for Bat, and these point defenses mean that where once the front line was here, it's now all the way back here, whereas there's no such equivalent push on the other side for Llama and Taoist. Llama is going for tactical missile on his comm, though he's already got T2 and gun on there. So, map control definitely in favour of Hot Team at this point, but Eco in favour of Cold Team. And Taoist is going for T3 Air, and that I think could be huge. And the reason I think that could be huge is I haven't seen any air upgrades from anyone on Hot Team, not even the player who I would expect nominally to be the air player, Sergeant. So T3 Air versus T1 Air, I know who I think is going to win the air fight in that position. Taoist is trying to get work done here with a Janus fighter bomber, but what sort of work is he trying to get done? He's not dropping his bombs, and he's got to be, that's enough inties from Sergeant to see him off. Interesting. Doggo working on gun at last, and I think he's going to need it because this is quite a big army of mainly T2 from buergi, and Doggo is still almost entirely at T1. He has literally this minute, I think, just finished T3, and he has a Percy in the queue. But he's got nothing but T1 on the front line, and buergi is advancing. But buergi has bricks as well, joining the mix already, faster than the Percy coming in from Doggo. So this could be a threat, and it's moving in. The radar will also be a big loss for Doggo. Oh, but now we've got a lot of stuff happening. Zardos is coming forward again, and he's got gun and T2, sure, but he's deep in the yellow. This is a firebase with 2 heavily armed comms. This seems unwise, and he is taking a pummeling. Here to the left, buergi is pushing in on Doggo. There's a bit of air support from Taoist, but that's going to quickly be chewed up by the flak in here, and Doggo is in trouble with only T1. Meanwhile, on Doggo's hill, this expansion with a T2 mech and a radar is completely undefended, and buergi's just sent a single rhino and a single flak, and he's going to clean up a lot of this. Meanwhile, on the flank, Llama's finished his tactical missile, and he's loaded. And there's the shot. We'll check back in a moment to see where it lands. Zardos, meanwhile, is falling back. He's bringing in a decent haul of spam, a lot of pillars in there. I'm not sure it'll be enough, though, as he pushes in. Remember, there's 2 heavily armed comms and a whole firebase here. Okay, it looks like buergi might actually be going for the run-by rather than a direct assault, and that could pay off, because look, there's T2 mechs here to pick up. There's that first Percy we mentioned coming in from Doggo, but buergi is getting through. That rhino still getting work done. I'm pretty sure that both the radar and this mechs are going to be going down to the rhino, which is amazing work from buergi, knowing to send that just sending 1 tank would basically be able to clear a big bunch of this up. Llama's TML was fired at Mario's expansion, and boom, look at that, a cap T2 mechs taken out perfectly just as he's building the TMD. Nice work from Llama. Zardos' army advances and Llama's bringing in an army too, but Sergeant is bringing in his own army, and combined I think there might be enough to overwhelm the Cold Team forces and keep the firebase up for Red. The armies are battling it out. The Percy comes in. Doggo and buergi, and this is all T1 from Doggo apart from this one Percy, but Doggo's comm with the gun is in here, and it's actually going to be a very even fight. Back to Zardos assault on the Hot Team firebase, now with Llama's army in support. I don't think they're going to be able to hold back Sergeant Spammer. A missile comes in from Llama. Boom! Beautiful hit on Bat's comm. Bat has to move, otherwise he's toast. Look, that comm took over half his hit points. But Sergeant is up front and pushing in, and his army is doing brutal damage on the front of Zardos' base. Zardos is here shooting back as best he can, but he's losing T2 mexes. He's losing production, he's losing army, he's losing everything. Things are looking a bit dicey for the Cold team, and it's coming in to the literal front of Zardos' actual base, the push from Sergeant, and if that wasn't enough, the attack we saw from Buergi earlier against Doggo is coming in to the side of Doggo's base. Doggo's managed to get out another Percy, but is one Percy going to be enough against these T2 units? And Doggo's eco is under fire as Zardos is under risk of losing actual core mexes to Buergi's attack. This is amazing. Look at that, 2 core mexes down as over here the Percy is able to defend against the raid before it took out one of Doggo's mexes. Zardos has brought his con back in and just about saved the third one of his mexes, but Hot Team have actually caught up the eco that they were behind until just a moment ago, and they're pushing again from the front before the dust has even had time to clear, so this is fantastic work from Hot Team. But I just saw a strat out from Taoist, and it's gonna go for a hit on the air base. Look at that, 2 T2 mexes picked up straight out in Sergeant's base. That's a beautiful hit. These mexes the T3, so it'll take more than one hit though. And anti-air is being thrown up in a desperate defense by Mario. Sergeant is sending his T1 inties. He's got T2, he's on the way to T3, but he can't produce any more while he's doing that. However, oh, look at that. They've got just 550 hit points left, those T3 mexes, and the strat is shot down. Clutch defense for the T3 mexes, but Sergeant still lost 2 T2 mexes, and that is painful. Meanwhile, Bats come forward again, this time with shield, but Zardos has been desperately trying to... No, sorry, that's Llama. Llama has been desperately trying to hold Zardos in front line with PDs and shields, and it's enough to force Bat back into the water. Buergi is bringing bricks in across the front line, but knowing that they have air superiority, Taoist has been producing broadswords, and the broadsword should be enough to defend against these bricks. Doggo's brought his gun come in, Llama's got gun and is under a shield, he's got these T2 point defenses. The bricks are powerful, but against this combined arms from the air and the land, they're not that powerful. Meanwhile though, Bats put up a TML of his own over here, and we can see it shooting. What's it going to be able to pick up? Multiple shots already off. One of them shot down by a TMD though, that Llama put up in the nick of time, but I think this mix might go down to the TML, and we can see on the minimap that more shots are being fired off as well. Boom, Cap T2 mix out for Llama. Taoist though has really been focusing hard on his eco. That might change if this, or rather, he'll probably still focus hard on his eco, but he's losing some here to the tactical missiles coming out from Bat. One Cap T2 mix down, and I think we're about to see another. Pop. Nice work. Oh, and Douglas Com has also been in the line of fire. I think he needs to get moving. Now, this firebase of Bats is really a problem for Cold Team. It's preventing them from getting access to these mexes, it's preventing them from getting any map control in this area, whereas Hot Team have all of this to themselves, and it doesn't look like they're trying to get more because Taoist is just walling off here. But, well, it looks like Taoist has the same idea because he is sending his gunships in on it. And 4 broadswords is probably going to be enough to take out a T2 shield and just 1 flak. And ASF's in support in case there's any air defense from the Hot Team. The shield goes down, the anti-air goes down. This is going to be toast. Now we did see that there was T3 on the way for Sergeant, but he's been rebuilding all the stuff that he lost to the strat, and he still hasn't finished T3. He hasn't been assisting it at all. So this air lead is still an immense advantage for Cold Team. The broadswords come in, forcing this attack back from Buergi. It might have been able to handle these. That's quite a lot of Percys from Doggo now, but with the broadswords in support, no chance at all. Meanwhile, the next strat from Taoist is coming in. I see it on the minimap, and we're going to see if he might be able to finish what he started here. Boom, nice. He takes out a T3 mech, but only one T3 mech because there was enough anti-air firepower and inties from Hot Team to shoot it down. But still, a T3 mech and the NGs capping it is a nice pickup for that strat. And Llama, who I would have expected to be the air player based on the position, has also gone T3 air for Cold Team and also is getting strats out himself. So definite air attempts on the side of Cold Team, which you'd expect given the position. Zardos saying, well, now I can attack this firebase, and in he goes, clearing up the bits that were left by Taoist gunships. And we're still seeing Llama's tactical missiles firing. Is that going to pick off an exposed T2 mech? I think it is. Problem with this, there's so many tactical missiles out from both teams that both teams should have tactical missiles everywhere. No, tactical missile defenses everywhere. No excuse not to. Look at this, 3-4 here from Mario. I like that. Another one out from Bat. Is that just trying to hit Zardos Com? It's not going to do much work against it. Sure, it will damage him, but he does go into the yellow, but he's not even on half health. He could take another of those with his immense amounts of vet and his T2, while Llama's respondent tactical missile, I think, is aimed here. Nice. Takes out a T2 mech that was providing fantastic adjacency bonuses to these multiple T3 and T2 factories from Sergeant. Quick overview. Wow, Cold Team have an immense eco lead, and it's all due to Taoist, who has been ecoing like an absolute madman, and if that makes the difference in this game, I wouldn't be surprised. Taoist is massing strats down here. Actually, massing, okay, that's two of them, because it looks like they're launching and heading somewhere, but where? Not sure what they're going to pick up here. They're going to try and do some damage to the army? They are. But there's a lot of anti-air, both in the army itself and in the base that they then fly over. One of the strats is immediately torn apart, and I think the second will... No, it does get a bomb off, but doesn't take out the radar, which would have been an immensely good pickup, and I don't think that those strats paid for themselves. And Llama is not finished, but nor is Bat with... Oh, finally, T2 tactical missile defense on both Taoist vectors, which he's now bringing up to T3. Look at this, as if he needed more eco. But the tactical missile barrages are continuing on both sides, and somehow Llama is managing to find yet more undefended mixes. Look at this, he's just picked up this one with his combat back. And now Bat is trying to take out Doggo's army, but Doggo's army was under shields, and I think the shields make the difference because Doggo's army sees the hit and moves. There's another tactical missile shot coming in, but the army's moved. It's not there anymore. And you can see that the barrage is continuing on the minimap. I think he was going for a snipe there with Llama, but we saw the missile impact the ground. And yeah, these missiles were aimed at where the army was, but it isn't there anymore. And the eco lead still massively in favour of Cold Team, thanks exclusively to Taoist. Maybe the meta has changed, because I've noticed that both the flank players have got this expansion, rather than leaving it to the air player, which is what I would normally expect. Interesting. I'll ask around and see whether people agree with me on that, or whether this is an unusual little shenanigan in this game. And now we're beginning to see tactical missile defences from Hot Team stop the work that Llama's Com has done. He's already got 6,000 massacred with it though. I was expecting more somehow. But they have been, when they have been making the kills, they've been very good pickups like these mexes. So I would say that tactical missile has definitely paid for itself. Anything interesting? Yeah, why is he considering the late game Zardos is queuing up an SMD and then a nuke? We can see a nuke template queued up there from Zardos. While it looks like he also wants to try and break into the enemy bases soon, he's bringing in spearheads to the front line. He's got here and here. And he's got Percy's in support. He's also got Percy's being cheeky under the water. And buergi is moving in with his army. Doggo coming out to meet it. Both have large T3 forces now, and if the Percys can get their alpha strikes in on the bricks, then the Percys will probably win it, especially with the shield support. There is a deceiver in here, but I expect that Doggo can actually see what's going on. Yeah, he's got Omni there. He doesn't need to worry about the stealth. However, neither team are incredibly keen to engage, and Doggo is putting up Ravagers, which will, I think, drive buergi back. Taoist also brings in a Strat to help out from the air. And where have we got any movement? Oh! Tactical missile defense has been overwhelmed here, and that must have been Bat's TMO. Taoist lost one of his T3 mexes there. Not that it slowed down the eco lead that much, to be honest. And Llama is now playing Bat's game. He's in the river building a firebase. And it's shooting at this shield of Bats, but trying to get breakthrough before this point defense goes up. We've got more triads going down here, and we've got NGs coming in to help. Will this be able to break through? No, the Oblivion has gone up, and I think that the shield will make all the difference here for Bat. And Llama's going to have to do some more work if he wants to be able to break this. And is that a Billy I see coming out from Taoist? Yes, it is. It's heading for Mario's front line. However, Mario has a lot of volcano missile defenses there, and I don't think that Billy's going to break through. Meanwhile, a missile from Bat is trying to stop Llama, and he hits Llama in the face. This shield has gone down, and the Oblivion, I think, is also going to go down, but the missiles come in and they force Llama to dodge. But they do kill a Percy. There's also a decent lot of Ophiums. Percy's don't have torpedoes, Ophiums do, so Llama's going to have to be really careful here. Bat's lost his firebase, but will the Ophiums be able to counter it? And Llama's going to be forced out of the water by those Ophiums. Ophiums are best at short range, and the Percys need to kite away, but just because there's a huge firebase here as well, and these turrets, the Percys might, I think, prevail against the Ophiums, which are forced back into the water. And Llama's starting work on torpedo defense, so these Ophiums can't continue their cheeky little game. And Taoist has dropped a Raz SCU from a Continental out here. What's he planning to do with that? He's planning a little firebase. He's going to have to be careful though, because this many bricks could easily clear it up if they paid attention to it and charged down on it. And this is pretty bold from Doggo's com. Sure, he's got shield gun T2, but at this stage of the game, when there's this many bricks out there, but Doggo is also pushing with his army. There is air support coming in from Taoist in the form of this Strat, and this is a big army, but it doesn't look like Doggo's quite keen to engage just yet. And Bat completes the first experimental of the game. It's a GC. The torpedo launchers have driven away the Orpheums. This firebase hasn't really got entrenched. Zardos sending a T3 engineer, but he's just trying to reclaim all the rubbish rather than rebuild the firebase. See, this is what happens if this SCU gets caught out. Boom! A lot of bricks, one SCU, no contest, and it wasn't even a Rambo SCU that might have done some damage. There's quite a decent army here, but in comes the GC. The far across the river from the Ravagers and Spearheads is pushing these Urshis from Sergeant back, but this GC might well be enough to break it. And the head of Llama is poking out of the water, I think, here. I think. Might be enough for the GC to see it. But Buergi's bricks, having just killed the SCU, have come in here and taken out this mech. But why didn't they push on here? Okay, one brick is doing that, which might be enough. The rest of the army is falling back to face Doggo, and that could be the right move. Well, it might also be the wrong move. Oh no, they're trying to fall back and escape and do as much damage as they can on the way out. Well, this one brick should have gone on here. Buergi, why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that? I wish you had. And Doggo is able to smash the raiding army with his force here. Nice work from Doggo. Back here with Llama and the GC. The GC has opened up on him and he's taken a bit of damage there. But the GC is also being worried about these Ravagers. And Taoist is sending air supports, and that's also a Billy from Taoist. Quick check over here. Boom! Look at that, that's beautiful. Meanwhile, the GC is being pelleted by these broadswords, but it's retreating and so are the broadswords. They don't want to take the fight, as there are now ASFs coming in. Taoist takes the air fight and wins it. But there's now T3 anti-air from Mario supporting the GC. Is it going to engage now? Nope, it's just gonna stand there. Come on, give me entertain. There we go. I want some entertaining viewing. Okay, that's not entertaining viewing, my dude. Let's go and find something more entertaining than to watch. GC, you are today's least valuable player. And though Hot Team are catching up in Eco, again mainly thanks to Taoist, Cold Team still have a massive lead, and Mario is bombarding Taoist's front line. He's got SCUs coming up for reclaim, which will easily be able... Oh, that's a Rambo SCU. Nice. I like to see some of those. But I don't think that even a Rambo SCU is a match for the GC. And Mario also has the T3 Arties, which are bombarding the front line. But this is an insane amount of Ravagers. I would go so far as to say too many Ravagers. And the GC doesn't care to engage. And this time, I'm not going to call the GC a coward, because that is an insane amount of Ravagers. Looks like a fight is lining up over here, though. We have these tanks from Zardos, these Percys, these Spearheads, but Buergi and Sergeant are both sending a significant army in to fight it. And Percys are at their best when kiting back, so that's exactly what Zardos does. He's got these Ravagers here to defend. On the minimap, I see another Billy out from Taoist. Where is it going? Trying to take out those arty. Buergi and Sergeant retreating there. Buergi looking like he's trying to go around the side. The arty move a little bit, but they're not going to survive the Billy. However, Mario is building a GC under here. It's nearly finished, and his engines all survived the Billy blast thanks to the shield. So that GC might be able to get more work done, where this GC from Bat hasn't really. And this GC is now just walking in, and is there actually enough to stop it? Will we get some damage done? Well, there's these broadswords, and where's the anti-air support? There's 3 flak units. A Billy fires and kills the flak units. That might be a bit of a waste for Billy from Taoist. Doggo also starting tactical missile there. Will we have multi-Billy action? I hope so. And the broadswords are really hitting this GC now. But there's a lot more anti-air coming in support. Mario really needs to bring these T3 anti-air into support the GC, but the broadswords retreat. They've seen this is a huge horde of flak, and the broadswords would lose a lot to. But we have a Novax out from Taoist, and that is heading in. This is well shielded though. A couple of things might easily be picked off, like this radar would be a nice target. And this T3HQ might be slightly outside the shield, but he's targeting the SMD because we saw Zardos building a nuke earlier. How's it going? Well, it's complete. The nuke is completed and it's 2/3 loaded. But I don't think one Novax is going to be enough to break a Serra shield. I think Buergi's just resigning there. Yeah, killed by suicide. I mean, looking at the eco, you might feel that they have a disadvantage now that they've lost this area, but I don't think it was over. I don't think Buergi should have resigned that. Next Billy also hits here, and Taoist is getting work done with it, but he's only killed 12,000 mass. I don't know if that Billy is actually paying for itself yet, because it hasn't hit really crucial targets. And meanwhile, in comes Mario's GC. That Rambo SCU is trying to Rambo it, but he's up against a GC with literal laser face, and his shield is down, and this Rambo SCU is going to pop. Boom. Doggo finishes something. Doggo finishes a Novax off his own, and he is going for Billy. Excellent! I love to see multi-Billy play. Well, but Mario's GC has taken damage, and it doesn't feel like it's going to push, but when you see this, you remember why. I mean, that's right. This is an over-investment by Taoist, but at least it's keeping the GCs away. And Llama 2 is going for Billy. My loyal viewers, we are going to have triple Billy action. We're going to have Billies everywhere. Billies to the left of us, Billies to the right of us. Little Billy won't go home. Meanwhile, Zardos is advancing a little bit. There's a lot of Othiums under shield coverage here, under multiple shield coverage here though. But there were strats from Mario who'd also gone T3M, and he does get a bit of damage done. One strat's going to get out of there, but Llama's ASFs are on point and in a position to defend. The other strat comes back, but there's... Okay, this is actually quite nice strat work from Mario. I'm impressed. He has lost a couple of strats though, and I am not sure that they are actually paying for themselves. No, that one didn't even get to... Oh no, that one bombed this hill and then died. It could have got so much, but this is a big army coming in from Sergeant now. And what's Sergeant built up here, experimental wise? Oh, he's built a monkey over here, which is going to try and sneak round the side. Will it get anything done? Can Color Team see it? They can't see it. They don't know there's a monkey creeping around there because of the monkey stealth. So, good work. Novax picking off mexes though. That's the correct use for a Novax, picking off exposed mexes. Taoist Novax here still trying to fight base stuff, which I think is less useful. Mario's GC still pottering around, but doesn't have the opportunity to invade. However, he has got the arty here, and a bit more arty would be the perfect counter to these ravages. Like 10. Oh, Mario also. What do we have here? Well, we have a cheeky Continental drop of SCUs into the corner. More Billy work going on here, and I think that was Doggo. Oh, that took out a lot of army. That was great work. Yeah, look at that. 40,000 mass killed on Doggo, and a lot of that was his combo earlier, but that Billy hit was amazing. I wish I'd been watching it, but these SCUs are also important. They haven't been able to set up here from Taoist, thanks to Mario's point defense, which obviously Sergeant inherited, but he just gave it all to Bat, so they're handling one side each. The Continental got shot down. This is a bit of an overreaction to one SCU, but it's a GC and it will at least kill the SCU. More Billy fire out from both Taoist and Llama. They're trying to overwhelm the tactical missile defense here. But that's 4 Eon tactical missile defenses, and I don't think they're going to be able to get through. First one isn't. And nor is the second. Good tactical missile defense work there. And Sergeant's monkey is trying to get into Doggo's base, but Doggo billies it. A single billy isn't enough to take out a monkey though, and that monkey just keeps on going. The Percies chase after it. Percies have a huge alpha strike, so as long as they can stay in range, I think the monkey might actually be faster than the Percies, but as long as the Percies are in range to get alpha strikes, they'll be doing huge damage, and the monkey has already lost half its hit points. I can hear more SCUs popping. Oh yes, you can see on the minimap that the GC went over to kill that SCU in the corner. But I'm more interested in this monkey. Can it get work done? Well, not if Taoist brings in all his broadswords. That is a lot of broadswords. There's also some Ravager support here, and the monkey goes down. Reclaim left for Doggo to pick up, but Doggo is pushing in. Doggo charges in with his T3 army against the base that Sergeant inherited from Buergi. And this is quite a big T3 army, but Sergeant has his own T3 army. And the army is engaged. Doggo's comm, however, is right up there with them, and I think he's planning to lend Billy support, because why else would he be right here, compared to where his army is when there's this much T3 on the field. And he's loaded. Maybe I'm wrong. No, I'm right, he fires a Billy, and that looks like it's going to be a perfectly positioned Billy. He was on 47,000 mass killed. And he's now on 59,000 mass killed. That was 12k mass of that Billy, wiping out this entire T3 army, and now Doggo's army can go charging in. That is amazing. Over here, the Novax is taking out the only land HQ belonging to the Sergeant, as far as I can tell. Yeah, I'm not seeing any more land HQs in there, so that's... and down it goes. Nice work. Over here we have a Continental drop of 5, but it's forced down. It's forced down, and it captures an Eon engineer straight away. The Continental is shot, so they're these and they're all Razor CUs. They aren't any Rambo, more Billy work there, killing some arty, but not otherwise getting much work done. I think that there's a lot of wasted Billy from Llama and Taoist on this side, not from Doggo. That was amazing. Look what he's managed to clear up here. And Zardos is joining the push in. We'll check back that in a moment. But this is hilarious. They've just stolen Eon Tech, put up a SMD and thrown out. SMD, Sam, and thrown out, all at the cost of a Continental. Zardos with a fatty now, and Doggo pushing in on the front line here. There is a chicken out here from Sergeant, and it is firing on the Percies. It's going to get some kills. But the fatty outranges the chicken, and if kited properly, this army from Zardos will be able to handle the chicken before it does too much damage. Like that, look at that, it can just shoot it for free. Was that Llama winning air? But we have the nuke out from Zardos. It's going for the base, that the expansion that used to belong for Mario, but we also have a nuke out that I didn't see building for Bat. So we have an exchange of nukes, and that is going to be fantastic. Mario's old expansion. I don't think there's any SMD here, and there isn't. Boom. And meanwhile, Bat's nuke aimed at Taoist's expansion on the flank. There it is. Or rather, there it was. Boom. And what a beautiful pair of nukes, one from each team. Bat going for a Tsar here. I'm not sure I like that. A Billy's coming in, but I think that TMD will deal with it. But over here we have fatty pressure from Zardos and tanks from Doggo coming in. Is that going to be deflected? Yes, it is. So by just sitting here, the fatty will be able to bombard across the river. And will there be anything that chicken can do about that chicken there? Well, I hadn't even mentioned that chicken. I must have seen it out of the corner of my eye. Anyway, but this chicken is going to try and fight it, but the fatty massively outranges the chicken and can just kite it. Meanwhile, Sergeant is going for T3RT. However, the fatty is not backing away, and this chicken is actually going to do some pretty good damage here. Oh, but I think we've got to get some split screen action, or whatever we're calling it now. Because over here on the right, Bat has these two GCs, but Llama's broadswords and Llama's Billy are really going for the pressure on them, and this GC is going down. This GC I think is going to be heavily damaged, but those broadswords are going to have to get out of there. They're not going to get out of there. Look at this huge horde of flak. They absolutely tore it apart. Still, 2 GCs to half a GC. Good work from Llama, damaging Bat's forces. Meanwhile, over here on the left, we haven't had any kiting from this fatty. Its shield goes down. It's trying to turn and run away, and the Persians are trying to come in and support, but it's too late. Down goes that fatty. And down goes the rest of this little supporting force, if I'm not mistaken. 2 Persies aren't going to be enough to stop a chicken. Pop. Amazing defensive work from this chicken from Sergeant. Doggo's army here, advancing on Bat's front line, but Bat still has half a GC. However, I don't know if half a GC is actually going to be enough against this many Persies, especially when it's supported by Novax, but that chicken that we saw from Sergeant comes in behind them, and that may make all the difference. Yeah, look at that, these Persies are just popping. In fact, the GC's barely had to fire a shot, it's all been this chicken doing the work. Nice defense from Sergeant. Meanwhile, Bat's finished that Tsar. But Doggo appears to be targeting it with his satellites. Is this the best use of satellites? Can satellites even target the Tsar? Nice Billy work there. Or is it being ground fired at the ground below? I don't know. Sergeant's chicken now attempting to push in over here against the front line of Zardos, but there's a lot of Ravagers here. And that chicken I do not think is actually going to get very far. I mean, it's killed some, but it's going to die, and the Iron Storm will also do a lot of work, but there isn't really any... There's a T3 Mex here, which it might take out, but I don't know if that attack was worth it for that chicken. Meanwhile, this Tsar is still under fire, and actually, to be fair, it has also a decent amount of hit points, though I didn't see whether that was ASFs as well. However, over here, we have the Novax now choosing to target Hot Team's base, which might be a little more useful. I don't know how useful, as these are T3 shields, but that's a lot of Novax. And the Tsar, I think, is now actively trying to block them. No? Yes? I'm not sure. Very confusing choices. Didn't see when those mexes died. Or what to? Maybe that... No, that was to be the Novax. Okay, I take it back. There isn't enough Novax. They break through this shield, they take out one T3 mex and immediately target another, which I'm pretty sure is going to go down in the next volley. Yeah. Look at that. Two T3 mexes. The Novax are doing their job. And did I mention this? This is a Paragon. The captured Eon T3NG is building a Paragon for Taoist with his nearly 1000 eco, and it's nearly finished. Marvellous. This is fantastic work, and I love every second of it. Trying to target the power is a good choice, especially as it's partly out the shield, and down goes the shield. The Tsar again coming into block, because don't forget the Tsar has a shield of its own. And we have a nuke out from Bat. Where's it going? That direction, as the Billies continue to run down. They're trying to snipe Doggo with the nuke. I would have sniped Llama with the nuke, to be honest, but you get what you can. And Doggo is indeed being got. He tries to run away, but boom, he is not getting out of there. Poor Doggo is our first ejection from Code Team at 48 minutes into the game. Is there SMD here? Not that I can see. They should 100% have shot Llama with that. Oh, shoot, Llama, get some of this expansion. The T3 Arty is up for Sergeant though, and it is pummeling the base. And in fact, it might have broken through some shields here. We'll have to check back on that. I don't think it's done any damage yet. That might have been the Arty. No, that was a reclaim, so we could build the so we could cap the mexes. But this is good work. Maybe it will break through. However, many Novaxes now out from. Oh, of course, these Novaxes are the ones that Doggo built, and they've been respawned now that Doggo died. Taoist will have to get them out there if he wants them to be useful. More fatties from Zardos, and Hot Team really has now been restricted. Suddenly this is the map control line, where not long ago it was all the way over here. And at the beginning of the game it was more like that. Billy's out against the hill expansion that Bat has inherited from Mario, and is there tactical missile defense? Well, the tactical missile defense over here, but none from this angle, and this Billy is just going to get through. And boom, down goes the T3 mechs, as if the eco lead for, well, that eco lead makes me think, yes it is. The Paragon has been finished, so having stolen Eon Tech from Hot Team, this all UEF team in the south now have unlimited eco. That is utterly and completely insane, and I love it. And immediately he has queued up a vast line of drones coming out from these kennels in order to make use of his unlimited mass. Fantastic work. And he's bringing his Novaxes forward. Now we've got the bunch of NGs assisting Llama's Billy in building air cleaners around him to protect him from potential air attacks. That's 5 Novaxes now, and they are really swarming in. But what can they I mean, there's probably enough there just to smash through this shield and kill at least one, if not both of the comms. Is that the plan? Nope, they're targeting the GC first, and the GC is going to die, to be fair. One SGC is still one SGC. No, it's not. It survives with 600 hit points when the Novaxes fly on. I think they're going for the Arty, but even 5 Novaxes against this many Seraphim shields, including heavily assisted ones, that might be a problem. Who was nuking? Zardos is nuking, and I think he's going to take out this side expansion for Bat that he inherited from Mario, and I don't think there's any SMD here. I think that this expansion is absolutely going to go down. Is it? Yes, it is. Now, I'm pretty sure that Hot Team know about the Paragon. Yes, they do. And the artillery is targeting it, but I do not think it's getting through. This is only one shield, but this shield is going to be getting a lot of assistance from Taoist engineers. Though the Arty might take out this T3 mech with a couple of lucky hits. But look, that shield's not going down, is it? But if one Arty doesn't do the job, assuming this Arty survives the Novax bombardment, but those shields seem to be staying up. Anyway, assuming this Arty survives the Novax bombardment, there's another one going up from Sergeant. Sergeant's got a double chicken attack going on the left, but it's falling back when it sees the Ravagers, and this is quite a horde of Perseus coming forward from Zardos. 6 Novaxes now. And look at this. This is just ridiculous. Look at this. Look at those drones over there. Look at those drones over there. This is insane. How many drones is that? Let's just check. My loyal viewers, that is over 500 Kenno drones flying across the map. 500 in order to build something with the Paragon's unlimited eco. That is complete and utter madness.
Strategic launch detected.
Another nuke is out, this time from Bat. Where's it going? It's going here. He's going to nuke the build power. He's going to nuke those huge hordes of drones. Isn't that amazing? I love it. And I think that's the right choice, because the Paragon undoubtedly has SMD. protecting it from that direction. Zardos had SMD here. Taoist, I think, has SMD here. Boom! But down go that drone. Down goes that drone horde. Do these drones just die? I don't know. Did they already die when I wasn't looking? Maybe. There's still 500. Now there's only 200 drones. Okay, they did die. So, nice work from... Oh, and this is what he's building. Look at this. This is the most insane thing I have ever seen. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. That is an 8x8 plus a few more grid, minus those mech cells, of around 60 or more Novaxes. Meanwhile, we have a push coming in by Fatty from the front that Zardos is now sending. And we do have multiple chickens coming in from the side, although there's billies trying to stop them coming in here from the various billy boys of the code team. But 2 chickens in defense, will it be enough to stop the Fatty? I don't think the Fatty can afford to leave the water. And this might actually be a bit of a waste for Zardos, because the Perseus can't shoot across the water, the chickens stick out of the water and can shoot them, and the Fatty can't leave the water or it's going to die. How is Zardos going to manage this? Look at this, the chickens can just tear apart the Perseus without the Fatty being able to support. And the Fatty's guns are not out of the water, but its shield is, so these point defenses are hurting its shield. I think we're actually going to have a successful defense here from Sergeant as the chicken vets up. It's in the red, but it vetted up. Now they just have to chase down that Fatty before it pops out of the water here. That was a great defense from... Oh, he does lose the chicken. And this chicken is still... No, come on, please, Sergeant, move this chicken up here. Otherwise the Fatty can pop out and do massive damage to you. Meanwhile, the Novaxes are trying their luck with Bat, and a horde of gunships come in for Llama to help out. But the air defense is on point from Hot Team. Fatty's out of the water. Chicken is just taking fire for free here. This Fatty is going to do some work. However, the gunships have all gone down, and the Novaxes have not broken through the shield. Nice defense there. Now we have gunships, Vulthus, T2 gunships, or T2.5 gunships, I guess, coming in from Sergeant to try and stop this Fatty. And this Fatty should be shooting here, but it's not being prioritized. It's not targeting these powers under the shield like it should be. And now the chicken is within range. This was a mistake from Zardos. And this Fatty's going down. Boom. Not sure what was being bullied there. Didn't see. Okay, this is getting silly. Why is he bullying the Tsar? Why is he trying to... Novax? Bully? Whatever. Why is he trying to Novax the Tsar? He's trying, and he's obviously having to ground fire to do it. But... why? I hate this choice. That's probably enough to break through here and just kill the comms. And this is a lot of Janus from Llama. T3... Oops, sorry for the hiccup. T3RT going up from Zardos there. That's a lot of Janus. What's he planning to do with it? Is he trying to go and snipe out the Tsar, maybe? It comes in, but the Tsar has decent anti-air. It looks like it's flying past... Yeah, it's trying to fly past... No, it turns and retargets the Tsar. And the Tsar's shield does take a bit of damage, but there's ASFs on hand from Sergeant. There's anti-air in Bat's base, and the Tsar has its own anti-air. Those Janus do basically nothing. Down here... Oh, we've had some damage here. Let's do a quick replay and find out what happened there. And here we are. Here we are in Llama's base, only a few seconds ago in fact, and the RT is breaking through. He's trying to put up shields, but the RT is actually getting in and doing damage. The HQ is over here, and I don't know whether that's going to go down, but... he's losing air grid, he's taking damage, but the shields pop back up, and I think this one's going to come up before any more damage is done. But the Paragon is still up thanks to the shield support, and the Arty has been retargeted here instead. Okay. More Billy Fire coming in, but the TMD is doing its best to stop it, as now we have these two Arties up for Sergeant and a third on the way, because these Arties, it looks like they're his best hope to survive this at the moment. As the Novaces continue chasing the Tsar. This is the stupidest use of Novaces since building a Novax, I guess. And there's another huge batch coming. Look at this. Look at this. This is utter and complete insanity. And yet, with a Paragon, you can afford it. He's making 9,000 mass now. He's collected mainly he. Cold Team have collected 4.7 million mass to Hot Team's under 2 million. It's a huge difference. It's going to be. We have a torpedo snipe attempt on RedhairyLlama with Solaces coming out of the Tsar. Solaces are the Eon T3 torpedo bombers. They're the only race who get T3 torpedo bombers. And Llama is taking the damage. The torpedoes are coming in. He's in the red. He's down to 4,000 hit points. But the Solaces cut 2 more torpedo bombers and they would have done it. But Llama is alive and Llama is very much still burying. And finally, the ridiculous Novax fire kills the Tsar. That is the stupidest use of Novaces I have ever seen, and yes, it worked. Bat hates losing the Tsar. He resigns, leaving it all to Sergeant. And as a Billy hits his base, I have never seen such utter madness. Bat's lost eco here. I mean, I almost think Sergeant should have built a Paragon in response, because he's definitely got the bird power to use it. Would he have been able to get it up, though? I don't know, and under the immense amount of pressure coming in from Cold Team, well, if Taoist kept using his Novaces to kill the Tsar while he was building a Paragon, it might have worked. But he's focusing on... Okay, he started another Arty at the same time. That was a mistake. Focus one Arty at a time. But this one's 2/3 done, so... Did the nuke go down? Let's go and check that on the replay too. The shields are down over Zardos nuke. Will the Arty take it out? We're getting some close by hits and the shield is not being assisted anymore. And boom, down, the shield is down. The nuke is damaged. And down it goes, so the nuke was taken out. Nice work. And we've got some Percies from Llama that are actually getting some work done at the front line. Because all the defences have gone down, actual literal Percies are getting to the front line and getting shots into the base that used to belong to Bat. He's trying to put up a GC, but it's going to be a long time before that's complete. T2 point defense might be the key call here, but the shield is down, and these engines are just under fire from Percies completely for free. And the Novax grid is almost complete, and look at this complete insanity. Look at it. I have never seen anything like this before. He's rebuilt all his drones much closer to the Novax grid in order to be able to assist them. And they're just sitting here. Please, for the love of the Emperor, use them. Because the UEF are basically just the Imperium of man from Warhammer, aren't they? Anyway, gunship response to these Percies at last, but now in come the Novaces, and there are so many of them. They're going for the Arty, and look at this. They're just tearing it apart. It's down in seconds. In seconds, the Arty is shredded. In fact, that entire... Did you see that? Did you see that that entire base was just up in a matter of seconds? We've got a second nuke over here for Sergeant, and it's going for the Novax grid, which is the right choice. And he's going for the water, but I don't think he's going to make it. I think the Novaxes will chase him down before he gets to the water and end the game, and what an insane game it has been. Are the Novax is going to get a shot if he's almost in the water, but he doesn't get there quite. Down he goes to the crowd of 60 Novaxes as his nuke smacks into the Novax grid and destroys it just a second too late. What an insane ending to what an insane game. I love it. 60 Novaxes. 60. Not in my wildest dreams have I ever seen that happen. Not that I dream about Novax that much, just to be clear. However, what did you think of that game? Hot Team had such a map control advantage when they were actually in the front of Zardos space destroying his core mexes. What happened to it? Tell me whether you thought Hot Team had a chance in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey. I'm TheCommissar. I will see you next time.